Thank you for joining me for Yoga with Sean D. The 60-minute gentle relaxation flow was designed to help you relax your mind, body, and spirit, whether you are just starting your day or need a little extra help falling asleep, or anywhere in between. In the description, you will find a recommended playlist linked to my Spotify. Please begin by lying comfortably on your yoga mat with knees and heels together. Keeping your knees together, heel-toe your feet to the outer edges of your mat or until your knees separate. Wrap one arm over the other across your chest like you are giving yourself a hug. Bring your attention to your breath. Self-Observation Without Judgment by Dana Falds. Release the harsh and pointed inner voice. It's just a throwback to the past and holds no truth about this moment. Let go of self-judgment, the old, learned ways of beating yourself up for each imagined inadequacy. Allow the dialogue within the mind to grow friendlier and quiet. Shift out of inner criticism and life suddenly looks very different. I can say this only because I make the choice 100 times a day to release the voice that refuses to acknowledge the real me. What's needed here isn't more prodding toward perfection, but intimacy, seeing clearly and embracing what I see. Love, not judgment, sows the seeds of tranquility and change. Stretching your arms open wide, heel-toe your feet together until the soles of your feet are touching and your knees drop open wide into a bound angle. Bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Inhale, exhale. Bringing your attention to your breath. Set your intention for your practice. Love, not judgment, sows the seeds of tranquility and change. So with every inhale, fill up with love. Self-love for you and love for those around you. And with every exhale, release. Breathe out tranquility and change. On an inhale, stretch your arms open wide. On an exhale, bring your hands to the outsides of your knees, drawing your knees together. And then hug your knees into your chest, wrapping your arms around your shins. Flex and point your feet, stretching your feet, and roll your nose up to your knees, stretching your upper back. Release your head back down to your mat. Breathe in. And as you exhale, stretch your legs up towards the sky. Again, flexing and pointing your toes and your feet to stretch into your feet, into your ankles, your shins, and your calves. Maybe all the way to your back body. It doesn't matter if your legs are all the way straight, just stretch them as straight as you can. And then reach your arms up overhead. Inhale, drawing your belly button to your spine, and as you exhale, as slowly as you can, begin to lower your legs, inch by inch, to the earth. Inhale. Exhale. Once your legs reach the earth, stretch along all the way from your fingertips to toes. Inhale, and on an exhale, hug your right knee into your chest, rolling your nose up to your knee. Release your head back down to the earth, and then take your knee around in some circles. feeling into all of the spaces, your hip and your low back on your right side. Move in one direction a few times and then back around in the opposite direction until you feel even. Bring your hands behind your right thigh. And again, stretch just your right leg up towards the ceiling, flexing and pointing your right foot. If this is too much strain for your back body, you can always plant the opposite foot, your left foot. If you need a little bit more stretch, you can start to walk your hands up behind the back of your right leg, or maybe even take your peace fingers, your first two fingers, around your right big toe. As you stretch your right leg long, soften your shoulder blades back to the floor so your upper back, your shoulder blades are soft onto your mat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, and on an exhale, hug your knee back into your chest, rolling your nose up to your knee. Release your head back down to your mat. And open your right knee out to the side, like you're moving into tree pose. Stretch your right knee out to the right, and bring the sole of your right foot somewhere along the inside of your left leg. Rock your head side to side, releasing any tension in your neck and your shoulders. You can stay like this if this is enough opening for your inner right thigh, or you can again take your peace fingers around your right big toe and stretch your right leg out to the side. Wherever your right leg is going, keep your left hip bone grounded to the earth so your low back is as flat as you can get it, and then stretch your left arm out to the side, maybe even turning your left gaze over your left shoulder. Again, if planting your left foot helps you to ground your back body, you can always plant your left foot, bending your left knee here. Inhale, and on an exhale, hug your right knee back into your chest, rolling your nose up to your knee. Release your head back down to the earth, and then roll your right knee over to the left, moving into a twist. Try to allow your right foot to relax away from your left leg, maybe down to the floor, maybe not. You can also put a block or something stable underneath that right foot or shin if that helps to stabilize. Lengthen your low back, and then stretch your right arm out to the side, maybe turning your gaze toward your right hand if that feels okay on your neck. You can stay like this, or just like with your leg extended to the right. Bring your hand to your foot and extend your right leg long over to the left, deepening into your twist and stretching into your outer right hip a little bit more. If you try that and it doesn't feel like the right option for you, just keep your right knee bent in your twist for a few more rounds of breath. Inhale, and on an exhale, draw your bent right knee back into your chest. And one more time on this side, roll your nose up to your knee. Inhale, and then on an exhale, release your right leg long to meet your left, and relax your arms down at your sides, feeling for a few rounds of breath the difference from one side to the other. On an inhale, stretch arms up overhead and take a full body stretch, and then on your exhale, hugging your opposite knee into your chest. Take your left knee around in some circles, evening it out on this side just as you did on the right side. A few times in one direction. Noticing any places where your hip is trying to skip over, where you might feel tightness or soreness, maybe slowing into those places. Mindfully moving and breathing. When you feel even on this side, clasp your hands behind your left thigh and stretch your left leg up towards the sky. Pointing and flexing your left foot, rotating into your left ankle. If you need to deepen on this side, you can slide your hands up the back of your left leg until you feel a stretch. Or maybe take your peace fingers, your first two fingers on your left hand, around the big toe of your left foot. Try to soften your shoulders back and down towards the floor, flattening your upper back, and maybe even stretching your right arm out to the side. Your leg doesn't have to be all the way straight here, as you can see, just until you feel some stretch in the back of your leg. When you're ready and feel even, you can hug your left knee back into your chest. Roll your nose up to your knee. Inhale, and then on an exhale, drop your left knee out to the side, opening into tree pose once again. Your left foot comes somewhere along the inside of your right leg. Gently rock your head side to side, releasing any tension in your upper back and neck. Stay here, or wrap your peace fingers on your left hand around the big toe of your left foot and extend your left leg long if you need it. You can even turn your gaze over your right shoulder here, looking away from your left foot, moving slightly deeper into your twist. Work to keep your right hip bone grounded onto your mat, even if that means bending your right knee and planting your right foot. Find some engagement in your core, drawing your belly button to your spine. That helps to ground your hip bones and lengthen your low back. When you feel even on this side, hug your left knee back into your chest. Draw your knee up to your nose. Inhale. And on an exhale, twist. Left knee rolling over to the right side. Adjust as you need to. Allow your left hip to roll away from the floor. And then stretch your left arm out to the side and turn your gaze over your left shoulder. You can stay here, or if you did so on the other side, or if it feels appropriate on this side, you can grab onto your left foot with your right hand and extend your left leg out to the side. Inhale, lengthening your spine, feeling your lungs and your rib cage expand. Exhale and soften into your twist. Inhale, and on an exhale, bend your left knee and hug your left knee back into your chest. One more time on this side, roll your nose up to your knee. Inhale, and then on an exhale, stretch your left leg down to meet your right. Reach your arms up overhead for another full body stretch. Inhale. Exhale and hug both of your knees back into your chest, wrapping your arms around your shins and rolling your nose up to your knee. Stretch your right arm up overhead and roll to your right side. Mindfully press yourself all the way up to a seat. Find a comfortable seated position, whether that's shins crossed, one shin in front of the other, one shin on top of the other. On an inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, gazing toward your fingertips. Exhale, draw your palms together at heart center, bowing your head to your heart in reverence of that intention that you set for your practice. Love, not judgment, sows the seeds of tranquility and change. Inhale and sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale and bend your right elbow, dropping your right hand behind your head and plugging your right shoulder bone into your socket with your left hand. Continue to soften your shoulders away from your ears as you breathe here. Allowing all of the tiny, small muscles in your shoulder and your upper arm to soften and stretch. Stretch your left arm up overhead and take your left arm around your right outer arm And draw your right elbow across your chest as much as you can. And then drop your chin down to your chest, keeping your right hand on your right shoulder, and breathe in between your shoulder blades, expanding with every inhale and softening with every exhale. Breathe into that space behind your heart, expanding with every inhale, expanding with love, expanding with tranquility. Keeping your right hand on your right shoulder, release your left hand to your thigh and take your right elbow around in circles slowly, drawing circles on the side wall, first in one direction and then in the other direction. Just like when you were taking your knee around in circles, noticing mindfully any sensation that you feel as you move, moving slowly, taking your time. Stretch your right elbow towards the back of the room, broadening across your collarbones. Inhale and switch your right arm up overhead, and then on your exhale, side bends, reaching your right fingertips over to the left. Drop your left ear toward your left shoulder here and allow your neck and upper back to soften. You can use your left hand for support here, but try not to ground down into your left hand or hunch down into your left hand, keeping your spine long, continuing to sit tall. Softly wrap your right hand around the left side of your head and drop your right ear to your right shoulder, gently placing your hand on your left ear. If you want to here, you can stretch out through your left fingertips if you need a little more stretch on your left side. Continuing to sit tall, lifting your chest, lifting your heart, lengthening your spine. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, and on an exhale, keeping your right ear to your right shoulder, release your right hand down to your right thigh, and then drop your chin to your chest. Roll your left ear over to your left shoulder, and then roll your chin back to your chest for a few more rounds of breath, just slowly circling your head. You can let your head drop all the way back, but try to keep your neck long, not crunching into your back. Inhale and sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale and float your right hand to the top of your left elbow as you bend your left elbow and drop your left hand behind your head. Plug your left shoulder bone into your shoulder socket so your shoulders are softening down away from your ears and your chest is lifted. Breathe as you feel sensation and opening into all of those small muscles of your left shoulder and upper arm, maybe even upper back. As long as you're not feeling any pain here, discomfort is okay. Just breathe into it. When you feel even on this side, wrap your right hand around the outside of your left elbow and draw your left elbow across your chest, dropping your chin to your chest and breathing into your back body, especially your upper back, feeling your shoulder blades slide away from each other with every inhale, and then feeling softening with every exhale. When you feel even on this side, keep your left hand on your left shoulder, lift your chin out of your chest, stretch your left elbow out to the side, and take slow, large circles around with your left elbow. Drawing a circle on the side wall, first in one direction, and then move in the other direction. Stretch your left elbow towards the back of the room to get a little extra stretch in your chest and your pectoral muscle on your left side. And then inhale and stretch your left arm up to the sky. On your exhale, side bend, reaching your left fingertips over to the right and dropping your right ear down toward your right shoulder. And softly place your right hand down to the floor for support, but again, try to sit tall, not resting all of your weight into your right hand or arm. When you feel even on this side, wrap your left hand around the right side of your head and gently draw your left ear to your left shoulder. Gently, softly placing your left hand on your right ear. If you want to on this side, you can reach out through your right fingertips, mindfully increasing the stretch if you need to. When you're ready, release your left hand back down to your left thigh and roll your chin to your chest. Roll your right ear toward your right shoulder, and then your chin back to your chest for a few more rounds of breath, just taking circles slowly and mindfully around with your head, releasing your neck and your upper back. On an inhale, reach your arms up overhead, lifting your chin out of your chest. Exhale and draw your palms together, hands at heart center, in Anjali Mudra. Rock your knees over to one side and make your way onto your tabletop, all fours. Shoulders over your wrists and hips over your knees. Inhale, and on an exhale, round your spine into cat pose, chin to your chest, belly button draws to your spine. Inhale and reverse this, tilting your tailbone and your chin up towards the sky as you drop your belly towards the floor. Exhale, rounding back to cat pose. Repeat like this a few more times. On your inhale, dropping your belly low, tilting your tail and your chin towards the sky for cat pose. Exhale and round. Move with your breath, lengthening with every inhale, deepening with every exhale. As you start to warm up into your spine and your back muscles a little bit more, find more movement if that feels good for you. Maybe side to side, maybe around in circles. Moving your head around in circles as well, noticing if you're holding any tension in your neck or your shoulders, releasing with every breath. When you're ready, make your way onto your tabletop. Press down into your hands to draw your shoulder blades onto your back, almost like you're rounding back into cat pose. Draw your belly button to your spine, and then stretch your right foot back behind you, digging your right toes into your mat and reaching back through your right heel. Spread your fingers wide and ground, especially into your index finger knuckles, as you grip into all 10 finger pads. Stay here, or float your right toes up away from the floor, finding balance. You can stay here, or you can reach opposite hand as foot, so your left arm on this side, forward. You can place your left hand back down to the floor, or keeping your right leg and left arm extended, inhale, and on your exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale to stretch long again, and then exhale, knee to elbow, rounding your spine like cat pose. Inhale and lengthen one more time. Exhale, round, knee to elbow. Inhale and find balance here for a few more rounds of breath, maybe placing your left hand back down on your mat, maybe bending your right knee, and reaching your left hand around for your outer edge of your right foot, kicking your pinky toe edge of your foot into your hand as you draw your heart forward, lengthening your spine and stretching into your left front of your shoulder. Inhale here, and then on an exhale, float your right knee and your left hand back down to the earth. Bring your big toes together, spread your knees wide, and as you crawl your arms forward, take your hips to your heels for child's pose. Roll the palms of your hands up towards the sky to release your hands and your wrists. Feel difference from right side to left. Feeling strong in your upper body and your core. Letting go of any judgment or expectation. Coming back to your breath. Inhale. Exhale. When you're ready, Slide your hands back underneath your shoulders, your hips back over your knees. Make your way back to your tabletop. Press into your hands to draw your shoulder blades onto your back. Draw your belly button to your spine. Then stretch your left toes back behind you, digging your toes into your mat and stretching back through your left heel. As you lengthen through the crown of your head, making your spine long. You can stay here once again, or you can float your left toes up away from the floor. Staying here, reaching right arm long this time, turning your right palm towards your left arm. Stay balancing or float your right hand back down to the floor. Inhale, and on an exhale, draw your knee in towards your elbow. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, knee to elbow, rounding your spine. One more round like this. Inhale. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale and lengthen. Finding balance once again. Maybe floating your right hand back down to your mat. Maybe bending your left knee and reaching your right hand for the outer edge of your left foot. Taking your pinky toe edge side of your left foot into your right hand. Reaching your heart forward and lengthening your spine. Inhale. And on an exhale, float your left knee and your right hand back down to the floor. Bring your big toes together and spread your knees wide, hips to your heels. Stretch your arms out in front of you and roll your palms up to the sky for child's pose. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe you gently want to rock your head side to side, softening the muscles of your forehead, giving yourself a little face massage. You're about halfway through your practice right now, so just take a moment to notice how you're feeling, what thoughts arise, and how your breath moves. Remember that love, not judgment, sows the seeds of tranquility and change. Think about what you want to change in your week or your day ahead. And then when you're ready, from your tabletop, stretch your right leg out to the side, planting your right foot, and then walk your hands back in towards you and bring your hands to your hips. Plant your left hand down onto your mat. If that's a little too much strain on your shoulders, your hands, you can also place a block or something stable underneath your left hand to lift your chest and give a little more support. Stretch your right arm up towards the sky, or turn your right palm over to the left and stretch your right arm alongside your ear, lengthening all the way from your right toes out to the crown of your head. You can stay here, or if you want to turn this into a quad stretch, bend your right knee and reach your right hand for your right foot, just like we did from tabletop, kicking your foot into your hand, reaching your heart forward as you drop your head back. Inhale, and when you're ready to release, exhale and stretch your right leg long. Reach up through your right fingertips and bring your right hand to your right hip. Stretch your left arm alongside your ear and stretch into your left side body. Your right hand can stay on your right hip, or you can slide it down further towards your right ankle, or move your block or your stable object underneath your right hand for support. Stretch your left arm alongside your ear. Continue to press your hips forward, stretching into your entire front body, broadening across your chest. When you're ready, lift up through your left fingertips. Draw your right knee back in to meet your left, and drop back down to your tabletop, taking a few rounds of cat-cow in between sides if you like. And then when you're ready, stretch your left leg out to the side. Plant your left foot firmly, even if that means bending your left knee. And then plant your right hand down on your block or onto your mat and stretch your left arm up to the sky. Continuing to press your hips forward, stretch your left arm up alongside your ear, lengthening all the way from your left toes out through your left fingertips. You can stay here, or you can bend your left knee, reach your left hand around for your left foot, Press your hips forward and take your head back, moving into a back bend. Getting a little more stretch in your quad and your shoulders. When you're ready to release, soften your left foot back down to your mat. Lift up through your left fingertips. Plant your left hand down on your left hip and stretch your right arm up alongside your ear. You can stay here or you can slide your left hand down towards your ankle or onto your block. If looking up towards your top hand strains your neck, you can always look down towards the floor as well, or maybe straight ahead. Try to soften your shoulders away from your ears and soften your neck, not straining. When you feel even on both sides, reach up through your right fingertips. Come all the way back up onto both knees. Back to your tabletop. Bring your big toes together. Spread your knees wide and sink your hips to your heels for child's pose. Press your palms down into the earth, stretching long all the way from your sits bones, those bones that you sit on, out through your fingertips. Inhale. And exhale. When you're ready, slide your hands underneath your shoulders, hips over your knees, and move back to your tabletop. Plant your right hand in the center of your mat and stretch your left arm up towards the sky. Inhale. And on your exhale, thread the needle all the way through, resting down onto your left shoulder, your left ear, or your left temple. Widen your knees into child's pose legs as much as you need to. Lift your hips as high as you need to, so that you can relax all the way down onto your left side. You can keep your right hand right by your face, or you can stretch your right arm alongside your ear. Another option is to stretch your right fingertips up towards the ceiling, or to turn your right palm towards the back of the room and slide your right hand behind your back, reaching for your left hip crease. That'll give you a little more stretch in your right shoulder. If you want it, it's just an option. Continue to breathe deeply here, especially into your lungs and your back ribs in your twist. Feel expansion with every inhale, and with every exhale, soften and deepen into your twist. When you're ready to release, plant your right hand next to your face once again, and on an inhale, stretch your left arm all the way back up towards the ceiling. Soften both hands back down onto your mat. And then plant your left hand in the center of your mat. On an inhale, stretch your right arm up towards the sky. And on your exhale, twist. Adjusting on this side as you need to until you're resting comfortably on your right shoulder, ear, or temple. Your left hand can stay planted by your face, or you can stretch your left arm alongside your ear. Also stretch your left arm, reaching towards the ceiling, or turn your left palm to the back and slide your left hand behind your back, reaching for your right hip crease. All of these are just options. You don't have to do the same thing on either side, just evening out whatever each side needs. Moving mindfully, being responsive to what your body asks. When you're ready to release, stretch your left arm back up towards the sky, plant it next to your face, and on an inhale, stretch your right arm open wide. Exhale, and both of your hands are planted back down on your mat. Find tabletop, and then come to your seat. Again, crossing ankles, one shin in front of the other, and one shin on top of the other. Inhale and sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands at heart center. Bring your knees together and stretch your legs straight out in front of you. Ground down into your sits bones and sit tall through the crown of your head. Hug your right knee into your chest and lift your heart towards your knee. You can stay here, or you can cross your right leg over the top of your left, working to plant your right foot firmly, even if it doesn't get there today. Hug your right knee into your chest and maybe stay here, or bend your left knee. You want to get both of those sits bones grounded onto your mat, so if this causes any pain in your knees or your hips, you can always straighten your left leg again. Stay here, or stretch your arms up overhead on an inhale, and on your exhale, twist over your right shoulder. Softening your hands down to the floor. Sit tall through the crown of your head. Soft gaze over your right shoulder. Try to keep both of your sits bones grounded in whatever position your legs are in, and whether or not you're in a twist. Inhale, and staying in your twist, on your exhale, just turn your chin over the opposite shoulder, looking over your left shoulder, and stretching into the right side of your neck. Inhale, and on an exhale, untwist, turning forward, releasing your arm, stretching your left leg long if it's not already, and then stretching your right leg long to meet it. Place your hands down at your sides, fingertips facing your heels. Draw your shoulders back and down, and pressing down into your hands and your feet, lift your hips up for an upward-facing tabletop. You can keep your feet planted and your knees bent here, or you can stretch your legs long and lift your hips for upward-facing plank. Either way, you're energizing your legs in towards each other and energizing your entire back body, squeezing your glute muscles, drawing your shoulder blades back and down. Inhale, and on an exhale, release your seat back to the earth. Stretch your legs out in front of you and hug your left knee into your chest. Get grounded into your sits bones and sit tall through the crown of your head. You can stay just like this on this side, moving mindfully between sides, doing what's right for each side and not necessarily what you did on the other side. You can cross your left leg over the top of your right, working to get your left foot grounded. And if your sits bones are still grounded and your knees feel okay, maybe you bend your right knee. If you try that option and it doesn't work on this side, don't worry about it. Just straighten your right leg long. You can stay here, hugging your left knee in towards your chest. Or you can inhale, stretch your arms up overhead. Exhale, and twist over your left shoulder. Continuing to stay grounded in both of your sits bones, sit tall through the crown of your head. Feeling that energy rise from the base of your spine all the way through the crown of your head with every inhale. And softening into that sensation with every exhale. Inhale here and staying in your twist. On an exhale, turn your chin over your right shoulder this time for a few extra breaths. Inhale, and on an exhale, unwind out of your twist, stretching your right leg long, and then stretching your left leg long to meet it. Bend your knees and plant your feet, turning your fingertips to face your heels. Press into your hands, draw your shoulder blades down your back and lift your hips. Again, for upward facing tabletop, or stretch your legs long for upward facing plank pose. Slide your shoulder blades down your back, squeeze your glute muscles, energize your legs in towards each other and lift your hips. One more inhale here, And then on your exhale, slowly lower your feet back down to the earth. Bring the soles of your feet together for bound angle. Draw your shoulders down and back and sit tall through the crown of your head. Keep your left foot where it is and stretch your right leg diagonally out to the side. A natural extension from your bent knee. Inhale and stretch your arms up overhead. Exhale and twist toward your right pinky toe. You can stay here. Continue to draw your left rib cage over towards your right foot. And maybe hinge from your hips, lengthening out over your right leg. Take a few rounds of breath to lengthen with every inhale. Continue to spin your left rib cage towards your right pinky toes. Eventually, on an exhale, softening into your fold, wherever that is. Soften your arms and your hands. Soften your head in between your arms. And continue to ground back through both of your sits bones, those bones that you're sitting on, to keep your low back stable. Stretch out through your left knee as you ground into your sits bones. Take an inhale here, and then as you exhale, slowly roll, stacking vertebrae on vertebrae until you're all the way back up to seated. Unwind out of your twist, and draw your right sole of your foot to meet your left. Roll your shoulders back and down, sit tall, and just notice the difference from right side to left. When you're ready, your right foot stays where it is. Stretch your left leg out diagonally. Stay grounded in your sits bones as you stretch your arms up overhead on your inhale. Exhale and twist towards your left foot. Continue to keep spinning your right rib cage towards your left pinky toe as you hinge from your hips and fold. Lengthening your low back, continuing to keep your sits bones grounded to keep that low back stable and long. Take a few rounds to lengthen and inhale. Exhale and soften. Spinning your right rib cage towards your left pinky toe. Softening your head in between your arms and coming back to your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Keep stretching out through your right knee, keeping your right sits bone grounded. Lengthening the crown of your head toward your left toe. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, slowly roll, stacking vertebrae on vertebrae until you come all the way back to seated. Draw the sole of your left foot in to meet your right. Sit tall. Grab onto your ankles, shins, or feet. Inhale, and on an exhale, fold over your feet. Continue to soften your shoulders down away from your ears. Drawing your chin softly toward your chest to lengthen the back of your neck. You can keep your hands on your ankles, shins, or feet, or you can stretch your arms out in front of you, lengthening your spine a little bit more here. But again, continue to keep grounding back into your sits bones, making your back body long and grounded, and stretching out through both of your knees. Breathe into all of that space you're making. Inhale, and when you're ready, on an exhale, walk your hands back and towards you if they're outstretched, and roll yourself all the way back to seated. Time for a little core engagement here. Draw your belly button to your spine. Wrap your peace fingers around your big toes and then rock your weight back into your sits bones until your feet lift up away from the floor. You can stay right here if this is already challenging enough, or keeping your left foot where it is. Stretch your right leg out to the side, still balancing on your sits bones, lifting your left foot up away from the floor, and maybe turning your gaze over your left shoulder. When you're ready, you can bring soles of your feet back together and keeping your feet lifted, keeping your chest lifted and your spine long. Stretch your left foot out to the side. Keeping your right foot lifted up away from the floor, finding that balance on your sits bones. Belly button hugs up and back to your spine and your pelvic floor is lifted. Engaging your bandhas to find balance and strength. Keeping that flow of energy moving upward. Stay here with both of your soles of your feet pressing together, still lifting your feet up away from the floor, or stretch your legs long. Flex your feet, reach through the heels of your feet towards opposite walls, and lift your chest, reaching your heart in between your legs. Slowly release your legs down onto the floor, staying seated, staying grounded in your sits bones, or hinging from your hips and folding forward into a deeper inner thigh stretch. You can outstretch your hands towards your feet, or you can keep them closer into your body for support. Maybe hands stay planted, maybe you plant your forearms, or maybe your forehead softens all the way to the earth. Continue to reach back through your sits bones, making your entire back body long. When you're ready to come back to seated, walk your hands underneath your shoulders, lift your chin out of your chest, and slowly roll all the way back up to seated. Bring your hands to the outsides of your legs and draw your legs together. Find your sits bones again, moving any extra flesh out of the way, and energize your legs in towards each other, flexing your toes up towards the sky. Inhale and lengthen your spine, stretching your arms up overhead. Exhale and reach towards your feet. It doesn't matter if you reach your feet or not. Use another inhale to lengthen your spine a little bit longer, reaching your heart towards your toes, and then exhale to soften. Wherever your hands and arms rest, just let them rest there, on your legs or on the sides of your legs. If you're grabbing onto your feet, just a soft clasp of your feet, and soften your head in between your arms. Breathe into your back body here, feeling your back lungs and rib cage expand with every inhale, and soften into your fold with every exhale. Continue to keep your toes reaching up towards the ceiling, so you're not externally or internally rotating your thigh bones here, keeping them plugged into their sockets. When you're ready to release, draw your chin to your chest and stacking vertebrae on vertebrae, slowly roll all the way back up to seated. Head comes up last, chin out of your chest, sit tall. Move to the top of your mat, bend your knees and plant your feet. Inhale, and on your exhale, round your spine, tucking your chin to your chest. As slow as you can, vertebrae by vertebrae, roll all the way down onto your back, keeping your feet planted until your head reaches the earth. Wrap your right foot around the outside of your right hip, coming into half hero pose. This can be a really deep stretch for your quadricep, foot, ankle. So if this doesn't feel good for your knees, you're going to come back to that active resting pose that we took at the beginning of practice with your knees together and your feet wide. And continue to breathe there for the next few rounds of breath. If this feels okay, you can keep your hip bones grounded and your upper body grounded. You can stretch your arms up overhead for a little extra length and even slide your left leg long. These are all just options, so find the place that's right for you. If you're feeling any pain in your right knee at all, please release and come into active resting pose instead with your feet planted and your knees together. Otherwise, stay here for several rounds of breath, pressing your low back into your mat, lengthening the front of your right leg. When you're ready to release, softly plant your right foot back onto the floor and take your left foot around the outside of your left hip. Half hero's pose on the other side. You want to try and get the top of your foot pressing down into your mat with all 5 of your toenails pressing down into your mat. Lengthening your low back so you get that deep stretch in the front of your left hip and quadricep. You can keep your right foot planted or you can stretch your right leg long. You can even reach your arms up overhead. Wherever you're going here, breathe into the sensation that you feel. If it's pain, adjust what you're doing. If it's just discomfort, use your breath to move through it, not going somewhere else in your mind, staying present and mindful to whatever comes up, whatever thoughts pass through. Invite them in and let them go, just like your breath. Inhale, exhale. When you're ready to release, plant your right foot and release your left foot back to meet your right. Gently rock your head side to side to release any tension that you might be holding in your neck or shoulders. And then grab onto the outer edges of your mat. And like you're pulling your mat in half, reach your hands out to the side and draw your shoulders down your back, wiggling your upper arms underneath your torso, pressing down into your feet and lifting your hips up away from the earth for bridge pose. Continue to energize your legs in towards each other, maybe releasing your hands flat onto your mat, maybe not. If you can get your shoulders a little bit closer together under your body once your hips are lifted, you can go for that. When you're ready, shift your weight over into your left foot and stretch your right leg up towards the ceiling. And then cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh and stretch your right knee out to the side, making a figure four. Slowly lower your spine and your seat back to the earth, keeping your right ankle crossed over your left thigh. Gently press your right knee away from you to deepen the stretch in the outside of your right hip. You can stay here, or you can hug your left knee in towards your chest to deepen that stretch even more. Try to relax your head and your neck and shoulders all the way down to your mat. And come back to your breath. Keep your feet flexed here, supporting your right knee. And maybe you find a gentle rock side to side, deepening into the stretch in your right outer hip, massaging your back body. When you're ready to release, soften your left foot back down to your mat. Heel toe your left foot over to the side until your knees fall over to the left, coming into a twist. You can keep your right ankle crossed over your left thigh. If that doesn't feel good in this twist, you can also uncross your legs and just stack your right leg on top of your left. Stretch your arms out into a T and turn your gaze over your right shoulder, looking away from your knees. When you're ready to unwind out of your twist, plant your left foot back to the earth, stretch your right leg up towards the ceiling, and plant it down to meet your left. Grab a hold of the outer edges of your mat once again here, and like you're pulling your mat in half, pull. Draw your shoulder blades underneath your back body, your upper arms. Press down into your feet and lift your hips and spine. Continue to pull your hands away from each other like you're ripping your mat in half to squeeze your shoulder blades together even more. Or you can release your mat and plant your hands flat on your mat. When you're ready, shift the weight of your body over into your right foot and stretch your left leg up towards the ceiling. Cross your left ankle over the top of your right thigh and stretch your left knee out to the side into a figure four. Slowly lower vertebrae by vertebrae all the way down onto your back, keeping your left ankle crossed over your right thigh, and gently pressing your left knee away from you to deepen that stretch in your outer left hip. You can stay here, or you can start to hug your right knee in towards your chest until you feel some stretch in the outside of your right hip. If you feel this in your right or your left knee at all, or your right knee, plant your right foot back down to the earth. Find your breath again here as you soften your shoulders and your head back down to your mat. Inhale. And as you exhale, begin to gently rock side to side, massaging your back body, moving a little bit deeper into the smaller muscles of your left hip. When you're ready to twist, drop your knees over to the right this time, stretching your arms out into a T, and turning your gaze over your left shoulder. If keeping your legs crossed in this twist doesn't feel good, you can always uncross your left leg and stack your left knee on top of your right. Otherwise, stay here for several more breaths, allowing your spine and your hips to neutralize. Inhale. Exhale. When you're ready to release, unwind your legs, plant your left foot and your right foot, and gently rock your head side to side, releasing any tension you might be holding in your upper body. Hug your knees back into your chest, wrapping your arms around your shins. And then keeping the soles of your feet together, draw your knees wide. Grab onto the inside edges or the outside edges of your ankles, shins, or feet. And keeping your knees wide, draw the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling. If this doesn't feel good for your knees, ankles, your low back, your shoulders, any parts of your body, you can keep your hands on your feet with the soles of your feet together. Or, with the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling, you can rock side to side, stretching one leg long and the other leg long. Softening shoulders back, away from your ears and down towards the floor, maybe even rocking your head side to side. Ananda Balasana, happy baby. Soften your belly and your face here, drawing knees towards the earth, soles of your feet towards the sky, lengthening and neutralizing your spine and your hips. Inhale. Exhale and bring the soles of your feet back together. Draw your knees back together and wrap your arms around your shins. You can keep your knees hugging into your chest here if that helps to lengthen your spine enough. Or you can move into one final stretch, plow pose. So keeping your shoulder blades, your upper back rounded onto the earth. Stretch your feet back behind your head. If they don't find the earth, maybe you place that block or stable object underneath your toes. And you can keep your hands at your low back for support, or you can stretch your arms long on your mat. Again, if you try this out and this doesn't feel good for your body, stay grounded, flat on your back with your knees hugging into your chest. No weight is being held in your neck. When you're ready to release down, arms fall along your sides like a runway, and vertebrae by vertebrae, lower yourself all the way down onto your back. Let your feet down onto the earth, and then walk your hands palms facing down underneath your seat until your shoulders and your upper arms roll underneath your back, and you can roll to the top of your head, coming into fish pose. Giving your throat and your chest one final stretch. Inhale, and as you exhale, slowly lower flat onto your back and wiggle your arms out from underneath you. From here, stretch your legs long, relax your arms down at your sides, palms facing up. Inhale and exhale. May the sun bring you new energy by day. May the moon softly restore you by night. May the rain wash away your worries. May the breeze blow new strength into your being. May you walk gently through the world and know its beauty all the days of your life. You're welcome to stay here resting in Shavasana for as long as you need. Thank you so much for joining me on your mat today for gentle relaxation flow. All of the light and the love within me bows to the light and the love within you. Namaste.